What's up guys, my name is Angel. I constantly get asked about my favorite peer-to-peer platforms and which ones I recommend new investors to look at. So in this video, I want to share my personal top 5. I'm going to explain why these are my current favorites, my Autoinvest settings for each of them, as I received a lot of questions about that, and then discuss some of the areas where I think these platforms still have room for improvement. As usual, please remember that none of this is investment advice, so always do your own research as well. I'm just basing these on my own experience as an investor in the peer-to-peer lending space since September 2018. Also, there is nothing wrong with you preferring other platforms to the ones I mentioned here. I know a lot of people in the community like Peerberry, for example, which is perfectly fine. These are just my own personal favorites as of October 2021. Before we get started, don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoy videos like this, and if you'd like to support me and check out any of the platforms that I mentioned in the video, you can find all the links in the description below, some of which also include some sign-up bonuses. Alright, so let me first give you a bit of context regarding my priorities as an investor, as these have changed over time. I want my investments in peer-to-peer lending to be as automated as possible, so reliable auto-invest is very important to me. Over the past few years, I realized that spending a lot of time manually choosing individual loans is rarely worth it, which is why I excluded some platforms from my top 5. I'm confident that I can get a much better return on investment by actually working more instead of selecting individual loans to buy. And when it comes to selecting platforms and lending companies for my investments, I try to stick to mostly loan originators with a transparent, profitable business model which they can prove via audited financial statements. Okay, enough of an introduction, let's start with my number 1 platform, Mintos. I have been investing on Mintos since September 2018. With a balance of over 7,840 euros, this is my biggest account in the crowdlending space. I earned a total of 2,303 euros in interest from my loans on the platform so far. Mintos is the largest peer-to-peer lending marketplace in Europe with over 7.2 billion euros worth of funded loans so far in total. While it is true that you can now on average get higher interest rates on other peer-to-peer lending sites, Mintos still provides investors with the largest selection of available loans and loan originators from different countries, making diversification a lot better. Not only that, Mintos is now officially regulated and licensed as an international brokerage firm and electronic money institution. This should provide investors with an extra layer of security in the future. Mintos also has a secondary market, allowing you to sell your loans to other investors if you need access to your money before the end of the loan term. Here are my current investments on Mintos right now. I currently have an average interest rate of 10.86%, an average remaining loan term of 20 months, and mostly personal loans as well as 26% car loans. Here's how my money is spread over different countries, over different loan originators, and the status of my loans. 83% of them are currently paying on time. So far so good, but we also have to talk about my funds that are currently in recovery, as 2020 has been a pretty wild year for the peer-to-peer market. We'll get to that right after talking about the Autoinvest. And I have to be honest, this is the part I like the least about Mintos, as I've had to fiddle with these Autoinvest settings a lot over the years and I've never been 100% satisfied with how I set them up. It's very possible that I could have saved myself a lot of time and been better off just choosing one of their preset strategies. Yet sadly, the automated strategies come with 2 deal breakers for me. First, you can select a minimum interest rate, and personally, I don't want to buy loans below 10% interest per year. And second, you can set a maximum loan duration for the loans you buy. But if you go with one of these, you do get the benefit of being able to sell your current loans more quickly, and if I'm not mistaken, without added secondary market fees. So it's something to keep in mind and decide for yourself. That being said, here's how I would set up my own Autoinvest from scratch today. And again, this is an individual decision, so it's okay if you do things differently. I would select only loans with a buyback obligation, a minimum rating of 7, and if you want, you can also use the lender ratings on Explore Peer-to-Peer as an extra reference and include some lenders with a rating of 6, but I'm going to keep this simple. Then, since I get my Credit Star loans with higher interest rates on their own platform Lendermarket, I deselect Credit Star. If, for whatever reason, you're not interested in using Lendermarket, you can keep Credit Star in your Mintos Autoinvest. As for a yearly interest rate, I like to keep my minimum at 10% per loan. And my remaining loan term between 0 and 38 months, so a bit over 3 years. But again, that's up to you. Now set a strategy name, a portfolio size that's larger than what you currently have on your account if you want your funds to be automatically reinvested into new loans, and a minimum and maximum you want to invest per loan. I usually do 10 to 50 euros here. And lastly, I select yes under diversify across lending companies. When it comes to diversification settings, you can either leave them the way they are set based on available loans or manually set a maximum of 10 to 15% per loan originator, for example. And then you need to confirm and save to activate the Autoinvest. There you have it, that's how I would set my Autoinvest if I was starting from scratch on Mintos today. Sadly, Mintos is still missing diversification settings for your entire portfolio. Right now you can only set them for each Autoinvest, which kind of sucks if you have several ones and you want to make sure you don't allocate too much to a single loan originator. I really hope that they add this feature at some point. Also, if you change your Autoinvest in any way, you have to manually redo your customizations in the diversification settings. Okay, let's get to the less fun part, my funds in recovery. Throughout 2018 and 2019, I made the mistake of not diversifying my money properly, and as a result, I ended up with a large chunk of my Mintos portfolio invested in a single Polish loan originator, Capital Service. That same loan originator ran into financial problems in 2020 due to the crisis, as did a few others. As the name funds in recovery implies, these funds are still in recovery, but the process and legal proceedings will likely take some time. It's also possible this money won't be fully recovered. Still, I remain positive, as in my opinion, Mintos' track record has been pretty good so far regarding recoveries, as you can see on these 3 recent examples. Either way, I'll keep you updated in my monthly updates. One thing you should know is that since becoming regulated, Mintos is slowly transitioning to offering its loans in the form of notes. And depending on when you're watching this might be relevant for you. Notes are their way of offering peer-to-peer loans in the form of regulated financial instruments. Each set of notes will contain 6 to 20 individual loans and will have its own identification number and prospectus. The minimum investment for notes will be €50 each, up from the €10 minimum we've had so far when buying loans on Mintos. But since loans already contain 6 to 20 individual loans, we should actually be able to diversify our investments more easily on the platform. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these will look in more detail. Last but not least, sadly Mintos is introducing a waiting list for new investors to comply with the licensing in every country. You can use my link below to sign up so that you're first in line to get an account when they open back up. Let's move on to the next peer-to-peer lending platform on my top 5 list, Viainvest. I'll try to keep the introduction short. If you want to know more about Viainvest, make sure you check out my video which I recorded in January. I've been an investor on Viainvest since October 2019, so for 2 years now. I currently have over €3,017 invested here and I earned a total of €544 in interest so far. And here's why this is one of my favorite platforms. The Viainvest Group, which offers all the loans on the platform, has been active in the lending sector since all the way back in 2009 and operates in 7 countries. The group has been profitable every year so far since 2013, according to their audited financial statements, which you can find on the Viainvest Group website. Their latest one for 2020 should be online soon as well. And that to me is important for their buyback guarantee on all loans, with the only exception being business loans, which activates after 60 days of a loan being late and also includes all outstanding interest for the entire period. The third reason why I like Viainvest is that it rarely requires my attention. I just set up the Autoinvest and it takes care of everything else for me. The only time I check my account is once a month for my monthly updates. And fourth, I've never run into issues. I am satisfied with the interest rate that they offer and I like being able to sell my long-term loans early if necessary. Don't worry, I'm going to show you later how that works. Also, they have just received their investment brokerage firm license as well, just like Mintos. And here's how I set up my Autoinvest. I entered a portfolio size that's larger than my account balance, so funds are reinvested automatically, and a maximum investment of €100 per loan, as I found that my funds are reinvested more quickly with this setting. And I'm okay with giving up a bit more diversification since all the loans are backed by the Viainvest Group. Since all the loans except business loans currently come with an 11% interest rate, I set that as my minimum. I set my remaining loan term to 1 to 360 days and I only buy current loans. Most loans except business loans have a loan term that's less than 1 year anyway. For loan types, I selected short-term loans, installment loans and credit lines. And I selected the loan originators from Sweden, Latvia and Poland. Czech loans come with a withholding tax, which you can get rid of by sending Viainvest some tax documents, but for me that's not worth the extra work. The other 2 loan originators are for business loans. All the loans I selected come with a buyback guarantee and I want my funds to be reinvested automatically. At the end we just need to read and agree with the terms and click save to activate the Autoinvest. Now you just need to give it some time. Viainvest typically adds new loans several times per day, so don't worry if you don't see available loans right away. The Autoinvest can be a bit slow at times, but it will get your funds invested on the platform. If you want your money to be invested faster in return for less diversification, you can always increase the maximum you're willing to invest per loan. You can also buy loans manually when you see available ones if you want to be even faster, but honestly I wouldn't stress about it. Now, unlike Mintos, Viainvest doesn't have a secondary market. That being said, you can actually sell every long-term loan back to Viainvest after 120 days by manually initializing a buyback. Here's how that works. Go to My Investments and then look for loans with a date of purchase that's longer than 3 months ago, which haven't yet been fully paid back. I'm going to choose this one. Now click on the loan ID and you'll see the Initialize Buyback button appear. Once we click on that, the buyback is in progress, and within a few days we should have that loan's money back on our account, including outstanding interest. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know about that feature on Viainvest. That being said, Viainvest is not perfect either, so here are my main 2 criticisms for the platform. First, the Autoinvest should buy loans as soon as they become available. It should never be possible for someone to be faster buying a loan manually than other investors that are waiting with their Autoinvest activated. And second, while I do love being able to sell loans early that I've been invested in for over 120 days, I do wish they had a filter to find those more easily instead of having to manually find them myself. Apart from that, I am very happy with my investments on the platform. And by the way, you can still get an exclusive €10 bonus when using my link down below in the description to sign up. Okay, let's move on to my next favorite, Robocash. Since today's video is already becoming pretty long, I won't be able to cover everything regarding Robocash. So if you want more details, including the different loan types, make sure you check out my video all about the platform. Even though the P2P Lending platform launched in February 2017, it somehow completely flew under my radar. I knew it existed, but I never bothered to have a closer look as it didn't seem that exciting. All of that changed in January 2021 as I did more research into Robocash and the Robocash group and ultimately became an investor myself. I currently have a total of €3,204 invested on the platform and earned a total of €204 in interest so far. Here's why Robocash is currently one of my favorites. The Robocash group, offering all the loans on the platform, was founded in 2013, successfully issued a total of $1.4 billion in loans so far, and is active in 7 countries. Second, the loans currently come with an interest rate of up to 12.3% per year and a 30-day buyback guarantee, including outstanding interest for the entire period. And since the buyback guarantee is only as good as the company that's providing it, it's great that the Robocash group is highly profitable, which they can prove via audited financial statements, all of which can be found on their website. Third, the Autoinvest always runs smoothly in the background. I never have to check in on this platform. And fourth, they have a secondary market enabling you to sell your investments early to other investors in case you need access to your money sooner. Here's how I set up my Autoinvest. When you click on Invest, you can create 1 or more Autoinvest portfolios. To keep things a bit more structured, I created 3 different ones. You can also simply create 1 if you want. This is just how I did it. The first one covers loans mostly from the Philippines, as I already have plenty of Spanish loans on other platforms, and here they have lower interest rates than the other countries. The second one, loans from Kazakhstan, and the third one, loans from Singapore. When setting it up, under current size of the portfolio, you select how much of your available Robocash funds you want to allocate to each portfolio. Mine shows close to 0 here, since my money is fully invested already. I set a minimum of €1 and a maximum of €50 investment per loan, an interest rate of 11 to 14% for Philippines and Spain, and an interest rate starting at 12% for my Autoinvest for Kazakhstan, and the one for Singapore. Under period of repayment, I selected all loans ranging from 1 day to 367 days. You can set this higher as well if you want, as some loans with 2-year durations offer the highest interest rates. Generally speaking, the longer the loan duration, the higher the interest rate that you get on Robocash. I then selected reinvest full amount and entered a maximum size that's larger than the size of the Autoinvest portfolio, so that my money is automatically reinvested. I then selected invest partly, and I'm also okay with buying loans from other investors via the secondary market. And lastly, I selected the countries I want to buy loans from in each Autoinvest. After setting up the Autoinvest, it usually takes less than an hour to have the money fully invested into loans. You can't buy loans manually, which is not necessary anyway, as the Autoinvest does a fantastic job. Another nice thing is that every loan with a duration of 90 days or more pays interest at the beginning of every single month, making cash flow planning a lot easier. Now, I mentioned Robocash has a secondary market. Here's how that works. Click on My Investments, select 1 or more loans, and then click the Sell button. I have no personal experience with selling any of my loans on Robocash, as I've had no need to, so I can't really tell you how well that works. In case you do have experience with the secondary market on Robocash, then please let me know in the comments below. The good thing is that unlike Mintos, Robocash doesn't charge any fees whatsoever for selling loans on the secondary market. Okay, now that we went over all of the good stuff, here's some things that I think need to be improved. In my opinion, it's not clear right away for new investors how commercial loans work, and that we're actually lending out money to Robocash Group subsidiaries in Kazakhstan, Vietnam and Singapore to finance their lending operations in those regions. Also, the web design is a bit inconsistent right now, between the redesigned homepage and the investor dashboard, but I know they're working on that. And that's pretty much it for Robocash. The referral program is still active, meaning you can get a 1% bonus on your total investments on the platform after 30 days if you use my link or this referral code when signing up. Also, I figured it's worth mentioning that Robocash has a loyalty program with interest rate bonuses between 0.3% and 1% if you have investments of over 5,000 euros on the platform. I'm not quite there yet myself, but maybe in the future. Alright, let's move on to my next platform, Lendermarket. Just like Viainvest and Robocash, Lendermarket also only offers loans from one group of lending companies. In this case, that's the Creditstar Group, founded in 2006 and operating across 8 European countries. I started investing in this platform close to 2 years ago in November 2019. I currently have 2,748 euros invested on Lendermarket and I earned a total of 735 euros so far. Here's why they're part of my top 5. Remember how I mentioned that I exclude Creditstar loans in my Mintos Autoinvest? That's because I buy them here, where they're usually offered with higher interest rates, currently around 14% per year. All the loans come with a 60-day buyback guarantee by the Creditstar Group, including outstanding interest for the entire period. As usual, a buyback guarantee or buyback obligation is only as good as the financial situation of the company that's providing it. Luckily, Creditstar has been profitable for over 8 years now, according to their audited financial statements. And the last reason is that Lendermarket also has an Autoinvest that I can rely on, so I never have to check in on the platform except once a month for my monthly updates. Here's how my Autoinvest is set up right now. In case you're wondering why I set the duration to 12 months maximum, that's because I already have a lot of long-term loans from Estonia in my account, and I want to make sure my portfolio is somewhat balanced. I also have a lot of short-term loans from Spain and Poland in my investments already, so they're only bought by my second Autoinvest if other loans are not available. This is what my Autoinvests look like in more detail. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this part as I think they're pretty straightforward. Again, it's up to you if you want more loans with shorter or longer durations. I like having a mix of both. Now, while I'm a happy investor on Lendermarket for close to 2 years now, they're far from perfect as well. Here are my main 2 criticisms. First, Lendermarket is the only platform in my top 5 that doesn't have a secondary market yet or a way to sell loans before the end of the loan term. And second, while it's great that the Creditstar Group publishes its audited financial statements every year, the audits up to 2019 were done by a very small auditing firm. Luckily, Creditstar already confirmed that they switched to a Big 4 auditing firm, KPMG, for the 2020 audit. It should be out any day now, and I'm hoping that it will put this issue to rest. Okay, that's it for Lendermarket. In case you want to check them out, they're still running their bonus campaign for new investors. If you use my link in the description below to sign up, you get a 1% bonus after exactly 60 days on all of your investments on the platform. And just to give you an idea, here's what that looked like for me. I received a 25 euro bonus on my 2,500 euro investment after exactly 60 days on Lendermarket. We're almost done, I promise. Let's move on to the last platform in my top 5 list, Iuvo Group. Let me first give you a bit more background information. Iuvo Group is part of the Management Financial Group, which owns a large number of different financial service providers and lending companies, most of which are active in Eastern Europe. The Management Financial Group unites a lot of experience in the lending sector, starting with Easy Asset Management and Easy Credit, all the way back in 2005 in Bulgaria. After also entering other markets like Romania, Ukraine and Poland via different brands, the Management Financial Group was founded in 2015 as a holding company of all these financial service providers. As of 2021, the group owns a total of 14 brands, including Iuvo Group, which was launched in 2017. I opened my account on Iuvo Group in October 2018, making this one of my first investments in the peer-to-peer lending space 3 years ago. I currently have an account balance of 2,662 euros and earned a total of 1,008 euros in interest and late payment fees so far. And here's why Iuvo Group is part of my top 5. First, the Management Financial Group is transparent and publishes audited financial statements for itself and its lending companies on a yearly basis. According to the last available financial statements, both the group itself as well as its 5 loan originators on Iuvo Group have all been profitable, which is great to see. Again, that's important for the buyback guarantee after 60 days on the platform, which is only as good as the financial situation of the company that's backing it. Second, Iuvo Group enables me to diversify my peer-to-peer investments into loans from Bulgaria and Romania from profitable, experienced lending companies. Bulgaria and Romania are 2 countries that I have very little exposure to on my other platforms. And last but not least, I rarely have to do anything here either. The Autoinvest does its job reliably well and buys available loans right away. Also, there's a secondary market. Here are my current Autoinvest settings. I set a portfolio size that's larger than the amount on my account so that interest and principal payments are reinvested and chose 25 euros as a maximum per loan. I only invest into loans with an interest rate of at least 10% per year, and for installment type I chose 7, 14 and 15 days as I found that loans with these shorter installments tend to perform better. For paid installments, I chose 0 to 3. I only want to buy current loans, and I selected Easy Credit, IBAN Car, iCredit Poland and Romania, Quiku, Nordcard, Super Easy, and Viva Credit as loan originators. That's it. If you're setting up your own Autoinvest, don't forget to click the play button right here, or it won't be active yet. And here are some of the last investments the Autoinvest picked to give you an example. 12.41% from iCredit in Romania, 10.68% from Easy Credit in Bulgaria, and 10.6% from Quiku in Russia. They all come with a buyback guarantee by the lending company, which activates if a loan is over 60 days late. Sadly, in this case, you don't receive interest in case of buyback. Still, I haven't found that to be much of an issue regarding my monthly income on the platform. As I mentioned, Iuvo Group also has a secondary market, enabling you to sell your loans early if you need to other investors. However, one thing you should know is that the secondary market on Iuvo Group comes with a 1% fee if you successfully sell a loan. And to finish things off, Iuvo Group isn't perfect either. Here are the main issues I've ran into after 3 years with them. 428.6 euros out of my funds on Iuvo have been stuck in recovery from the Polish business loan originator CBC, formerly known as KFP, since July 2020. Iuvo Group is doing its best in Polish courts as far as the recovery is concerned, so I remain optimistic. Still, these things take some time, and until it is resolved, these funds in my account are not earning any interest. I also think that Iuvo should show these funds as being in recovery in the dashboard underneath delayed loans. Right now, while they're still included in the total account balance, I can only find them when checking the list of my investments. The fastest way is sorting by status. The second thing I'm not a fan of is the following. Over the past few years, a few people told me that Iuvo Group called them after they registered their account to help them set it up. Now, I think that in itself is not an issue, but these people disabled communication via phone on purpose in their settings when they signed up. And they still received a phone call. That's not something that should happen, so I hope they're not doing that anymore. Alright, that's it for the last one in my top 5. If you're interested in Iuvo Group, make sure you request a referral via my link down below first, as that's the only way to get a 1.5% bonus on your investments on the platform. Okay guys, I hope I was able to explain why these are currently my top 5 platforms as far as my investments in peer-to-peer lending are concerned, and what makes them unique in my opinion. And now you also finally know my updated Autoinvest settings for each of them, as I know that it was something that has been requested a lot. That being said, while these are my favorites, I also wanted for this video to remain somewhat balanced by also going over each platform's downsides. That way you can make up your own opinion in the end. So hopefully I was able to do that. Before you take off, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button and to subscribe if you want to see more. Also, if you'd like to support me and check out any of the platforms that I mentioned, you can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.